Welcome back. All right, so 5 games. If you're looking for the Boston Rangers review, I already reviewed that this morning. That one's done. So we had 5 games on after that. Pretty early day. I like an early day. It's not too bad. Kind of nice having an early day. Starting with Philadelphia and the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres wearing their reverse retros. It's a 1970s expansion thing. The reverse retros, no luck for either of them. It's a good thing Buffalo and Vancouver can't play against each other, both wearing their reverse retros, because the universe would eat itself. So, early power play for the Sabres. Olofsson with a shot to Hart's mask. Dahlin had a blast that goes wide. The shots were 5-1 Sabres 7 minutes in. They came out of the gate pretty good. Johansson saves a point shot, post for Lazar. The Flyers get a power play. It was Lazar that got the penalty, and he said no. I think it was fudging way. I think that's probably what he said, but it was very loud, and it was. Remember back in the play-ins when they were making it so you couldn't actually hear the swearing on the ice, and it was really funny. They're not even trying now. It's like they just went ridiculous. Heavy pressure for the Flyers, but we come out of that first period with the Flyers with the heavy shot lead, but no lead on the board. Second period, Couturier makes that change quickly from Farabee and Van Riemsdyk at 22 seconds. Yeah. The Flyers then, they press for another and they get it. Raffle from Myers and Haig at 1:37. So 2 goals in about a minute's time, minute 15, and the Flyers are up 2-0. And at that point, again, this is something that I feel watching these Buffalo games. Well, they're done. And it's terrible thinking that way and realizing there's probably Sabres fans watching right now. They're going, what else is on? Deflected shot after face-off win. Then there were more Flyers chances. Then at about 3 minutes, Stahl gets a chance. Hall gets a chance. It's nice that their names rhyme. That's about where the entertainment ends with that, though. The Flyers get another really good chance in front of the net. They get a power play. That's killed off. This felt like it was Hart's best game in a while. Carter Hart, there's been a lot of criticism of him on and off throughout the season. It'll be off for now till his next bad start. Carter Hart's still very young. He's a very good goaltender with a long future ahead of him. Today was a very good game for him. Irwin broke up a 2-on-1, but then before the period's out, Van Riemsdyk scores from Farabee and Provorov at 15:23. So Van Riemsdyk with a goal and an assist today. He continues to be red hot, scoring a ton of points. And who saw that coming? And it's not even that like he got off to a good 10 games or no, we're up to what, 17, 18 games? 18 games. He's still producing points. So last minute, Sabres get a power play in the third. The Flyers killed that off. And then Ristolainen hits Raffle, which Raffle wasn't happy about, but hey. Hall then had a chance that was stopped. There's a power play for the Sabres. That's killed off. The shots were 8-3 Sabres at 9 minutes. Again, they had good stretches of this game where they were in control. They had a lot of opportunities. They just couldn't finish. The finish was not there. Post then for the Sabres. No luck for them. It was all Sabres in that third period, but it was also all Carter Hart. As Carter Hart continued to run up his save totals. And tempers were rising late in this one. You could see Buffalo's getting frustrated, which is probably overdue. Philadelphia holds on. They get the shutout. It's an 11-4-3 record now for the Flyers. Buffalo drops to 6-10-3. No chance of playoffs for them at this stage. Shots were 13-7 Philly in the first, 21-12 Philly in the second, 9-4 Buffalo in the third. Final shots 38-28 for the Flyers. Power plays, the Flyers go 0-2. Buffalo goes 0-3. Carter Hart saves all 28 for only his second career shutout. I actually had to double check that. I'm like, it's only his second? And Johansson saves 35 out of 38. He played well. This is not on Johansson because your team gets shut out. And he played pretty well. Just they weren't able to get any goals, and that's kind of what happens. Next up, Columbus. Columbus is not happy playing against Nashville. The good news is they don't have to play Nashville many more times, which if you're a Nashville fan has to upset you, because Nashville has absolutely no problem with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Everybody else in the league, plenty of problems. Columbus, none. Just none. So Domi was looking for a call early. This was not Max Domi's best game. I'm going to say straight out, if John Tortorella doesn't cut back ice time dramatically after this performance today, I'd be very surprised. Shots were 2-2 3 minutes in, and then Stenlund scores. So Columbus gets the lead, right? From Nash and Jones at 3:45. The Predators then try to answer, and they do. Cousins gets his second of the year from Arvidsson and Johansson at 7:05. Sissons then had a chance to went wide, but Nashville had a lot of momentum. Korpisalo, pretty busy. Preds were controlling. Things get kind of scrummy. 13 and a half minutes into that first period. Late Columbus power play. That was killed off. And there was a shorthanded break for Haula, where Haula shot wide. But, yeah, that Columbus power play, not fantastic. It had no shots during it. And we go to the second period with a 1-1 tie. Shots were 2 apiece 6 minutes in. So, again, Columbus playing well, and then Nashville takes over. Werenski with a shot that deflects high. Power play for the Predators. They would score on it. And it's Tolvanen. Ellie Tolvanen. Maybe he's starting to produce. Yossi and Forsberg with the assists at 9:44. And at that stage, it's 2-1. And yet, I put on the board, Preds look set for a 5-1 record against Columbus. Because once it was 2-1, I was like, all right, so that's probably it. So again, with these games across this board, I was like, looks like that's probably it. There's a lot of that going on today. Laine had a chance that was stopped. Laine had a lot of chances that were stopped. Columbus had a 2-on-1 that was defended well. Power play then for Columbus. Laine denied. Predators cleared out. Last moments, there was a shot for Savard that was saved. So we go to the third period with it 2-1 in favor of Nashville. Early Columbus chances, Roslovic missed. Pressed by Columbus at 8 minutes. Predators kind of guilty of hanging on at this stage of the game. And yet I never really got the feeling Columbus was going to tie this. Johansson with a chance that was blocked. Good third period for Saros. Columbus buzzing. Not tying it though. With 3:14 left, Columbus gets a power play. Now, during the power play, Domi gets knocked down. Domi stays down while the puck's leaving the zone. You don't have a man advantage if one of your guys is at the other end of the rink. Now, I'm not saying he was doing the Peter Griffin knee thing, but shorthanded goal, Haula. He gets on the board. Yossi and Benning with the assists at 18:08. And Domi was upset after the play, and he was talking to the refs, and I thought, okay. So he's looking for an early call here. He wasn't happy he didn't get. He looks for a call here. And I'm not going to say whether he's diving or whatever it was, but he was down. The puck goes the other way, and it ends up in the net. Nashville wins 3-1. These are the kinds of plays that Coach Tortorella has shown over the years. It doesn't sit well with him. So Nashville wins it. They go to 10-11. And for Columbus, 8-10-5. This just keeps getting worse for Columbus. Shots, 11-7 Nashville in the first, 12-11 Nashville in the second. In the third, Columbus outshot them 11-6. Final shots, 29 each. Columbus 0 for 3 on the power play. Nashville 1 for 1. Korpisalo, 26 saves on 29 shots. Saros, 28 saves on 29 shots. In a game where every goaltender of the 4 that were dressed was from Finland. So there you go. We'll see what happens with Columbus, but it feels like we're reaching a breaking point where something has to give. Just has to. And yet, we're seeing some teams around the league where it's just not happening. And I have to wonder if this is just one of those situations where GMs are viewing this year as different than any other, which they probably should. Next up, Washington and New Jersey. Now, there was a lot of talk on my power rankings last night. Yeah, I looked at the comments about Washington's number one in their division. Why would they not be number one, not on the power rankings, but in their division on the power rankings? And I have not been convinced by the play by Washington. I've seen too many cases where they're playing good 20 minutes, maybe a good 35. It's been hard to see a full 60. Today, they kind of get there. This was a better win for them than some of the other recent ones. But it's New Jersey, so you kind of have to do the whole grain of salt thing with this. So, the 7th start in 8 for Blackwood. I don't think he's getting tired. The numbers would tell you he wasn't great today. The numbers would be lying. Samsonov was in as well, and Samsonov looked plenty shaky. Just New Jersey wasn't getting enough chances on him early. Lines were juggled by the Devils as well today to try to shake things up. The shots were 6-0 for the Capitals at 5 minutes. But then New Jersey gets chances, and Maltsev, who's in the lineup today because he shears out, he gets a goal from Subban and Zacha at 6:45. That is a 10-game point streak for Pavel Zacha. So all the he's a bust talk, he's kind of proving that he may not be. Devils, though, needed to work on turnovers. And to Ken Danico's credit, he was talking about they're turning over the puck too much, even though they had a 1-0 lead. Zacha with a chance that goes high. Samsonov seemed to have bounced back at that point from what was a shaky start. Vrana then gets a goal from Wilson at 15:39. It's one of those lob passes. Nice goal by Vrana. And it's a 1-1 tie. Dylan and Bastian then had words. They would agree to come back to that at a later time, I'm sure in a very gentlemanly fashion. Ovi then was doing some shot blocking. He was kind of slow to get up, stays in the game. But whenever Ovi takes a shot off the inside of his foot, you kind of have to go, maybe you shouldn't do that. Okay, second period. Early press by the Capitals, and they score it as Backstrom with his 10th of the year from Wilson at 2:32, and that resulted from a turnover by the New Jersey Devils. So Backstrom, known goal scorer with 10 already, leading the team. But it didn't last. Sharon Govich, he scores for New Jersey from Wood and Zajac at 3:20. That one went through Samsonov, and I didn't think it was a great goal. But you know what? If you're New Jersey and you're Sharon Govich, you'll take it. Sharon Govich is a guy who has not produced nearly as many goals as he should because his work ethic is fantastic. So you would think by watching his games he has more points and goals than he does. Maybe that's going to change. Caps get a power play. That's killed off. The Devils then get their chance on the power play. That's killed off. And Dylan and Bastian decide to get together, and why don't we have that fight now? Okay, you are on. Caps then press at the half. They don't score at that point, but Ovechkin gets goal number 713 from Eller and Jensen at 13:37. And that gave the Capitals the lead. And at that point, I thought, okay, this is where the Capitals need to shut this down and really practice the whole protecting a lead thing. Then there was a too many men on the ice call against Capitals, so the Devils get a power play. The Caps did kill that off. In the last minute, the Caps get a power play. They don't score on that. We go to the third period where the rest of that penalty is killed off. Zajac had a chance that was blocked. There's a power play for the Devils. Palmieri with a near miss. So, Kyle Palmieri, again, decent game. Decent game for Palmieri, but again, not enough goals today for New Jersey. So things get scrummy with about 5 minutes left. That was after a too many men Caps power play. So both teams had too many men on the ice calls. John Carlson hit a post as well. So, and then with the shots 1-0 in favor of the Devils with 3.5 minutes left, New Jersey decided, well, let's pull the goalie as soon as possible. That was after the Capitals had their first and only shot of the third period. Wood then took a puck in the ear. I hope he's okay. When a guy takes a puck in the ear, it could go either way. It could be this is now an injury. He's going to be out for a while, or he just lacerated his ear. He'll be fine. He'll be back in the next game. Full cage, that kind of thing. So we'll see. And then Palmieri in the closing moments, there was a block by Carlson. So Palmieri has an open net, but Carlson's back makes the save. So Carlson didn't even know that the puck was coming in, and he saved it. So Palmieri probably going to be thinking about that tonight because that would have been the tying goal. Washington wins. They go to 12-5-4. New Jersey 7-8-2. The one thing that the Capitals have going for them too is that they do have the 4 extra time points from losing in overtime or shootouts. So while they've only won 12 out of 21, they do have those 4 extra points. And today they did win that 12th game. Shots in this one, 13-7 Washington in the first, 10-9 New Jersey in the second, 4-1 New Jersey in the third. It was a low opportunity third period. Final shots, 23-21 for the Capitals. Both teams 0 for 3 on the power play. Samsonov, 19 saves on 21 shots. Blackwood, 20 saves on 23 shots for the New Jersey Devils. I'm not gonna put it on him because nah. All right, next up, the New York Islanders played today. So did Casey DeSmith. So did Sidney Crosby. And then there were some passengers. Let's get into it. DeSmith versus Sorokin was the tandem today. Sorokin is off to an odd start to his career. I think we can agree to that, and we'll talk about that when this is done here. Another fast start, no chances though. So this is an Islanders game. You get no whistles. Game's going really fast. We've only got the ice for a certain amount of time. Come on, guys, hurry it up. We got it by the hour. And no shots 5 minutes in. The Islanders press at 7 minutes. By the time we reach the halfway mark of that first period, the Islanders are ahead 5-0 in shots. Late power play for the Islanders, and it's Wahlstrom. Yeah, Wahlstrom is starting to produce, and I'm very happy for him because Wahlstrom's a guy I had my eye on last year, and it failed last year, so I'm glad. Better late than never, right? Wahlstrom gets the goal from Leddy and Bailey at 19:20. That makes it 1-0 for the Islanders after one. Second period. Early Penguins chance. DeSmith then denied Komarov and would freeze it shortly thereafter. The Islanders with a power play. Malkin upset at the call. There were some players who were upset with some calls today in this game, seemingly more than others. It was not an Hebert-called game. The Penguins, I thought, needed to wake up because Beauvillier has a near miss right in front of the net, and it just feels like the Penguins are kind of stuck in neutral, that they missed their wake-up call this morning or something. Sorokin denies Tanev. That was only the Penguins' fifth shot. It was the third of that period at that time. Shots were 12-3 in favor of the Islanders halfway through that second period. So this is just Islanders all the way. Matheson had a wraparound that was stopped. The Islanders get their third power play, which is unusual. The Islanders don't normally get that many, and they score on it. Power play goal for Pajot from Bailey and Wahlstrom at 14:56. Oliver Wahlstrom with a goal and an assist for the New York Islanders. The Penguins' worst game of the season. Not going to lie. Absolutely. I think this was the worst game that they've played all season. And I don't know that it's close, but it just felt like they just weren't in this. Late power play for the Penguins, which resulted in a shorthanded break for Cizikas. Again, just they're not sharp. They're not making enough. Their passes weren't sharp. It was bizarre. Crosby trying to will the Penguins into it. He was the one Penguin out there, and he was out there a lot. Likely because he was the one that was going for them. And then in the last minute, the Penguins get some chances, but we go to the third period with the score 2-0 for the Islanders. In the third, early power play for the Penguins. Sorokin stopped a chance for Rust, so Rust was out there too, and he had some opportunities, I guess, towards the end of this. Kapanen had a chance that was stopped, so the power play's killed off. The shots were 5-0 for the Penguins at the 5-minute mark. Then the Islanders start to answer back. There's a 2-on-1. Marino defended it pretty well. McCann gets a goaltender interference penalty. He wasn't happy with it. He felt he was pushed into the goaltender. The counter would be, did you try to get out of the way of hitting the goaltender? The other counter would be, why didn't they call interference and goalie interference so that it's an offsetting 4-on-4? Doesn't matter. It ends up being 2 minutes off the clock, though, so it kind of sort of does if you're a Penguins fan. Although my counter would be the Penguins weren't scoring a goal in this. Eberle has a chance. DeSmith makes the save. Sorokin preserving the shutout very well late in this thing. And Crosby, I had to ask the question, is he leaving the ice? Because it felt like he played a ton in that third period. I'd be interested to know if his ice time was the highest in that game, including defensemen, because it feels like that's how it worked out. With 4:37 left, the Islanders get a power play. So that just allows them to take 2 minutes off the clock, which they did. And then with 1:35 left, the Penguins pull the goaltender. You never really got the feeling this game was in any doubt. The Islanders win 2-0. First shutout the Islanders have had against the Penguins in New York since 1986 when Kelly Hrudey did it. So Kelly Hrudey was an Islanders goaltender the last time they shut out Pittsburgh in New York. 11-6-4 now is the Islanders record. 11-8-1 for Pittsburgh. This one definitely hurts if you're the Penguins. Shots in this one, 9-2 in the first in favor of the Islanders. 16-8 in the second in favor of the Islanders. And then 10-5 in the third in favor of Pittsburgh. So they kind of woke up in the third. Final shots 30-20 in favor of the Islanders. Power plays, Pittsburgh 0-2. The Islanders 2-5. 5 power plays for the Islanders. Now they won't get any in the next 3 games. DeSmith saves 28 out of 30. He looked very good. No goal support. Sorokin 20 saves for a shutout, meaning Sorokin has 2 wins in his NHL career. Both of them are shutouts. That's weird. That being said, why not? So yeah, Pittsburgh, worst effort I've seen from them this season. I'm not sure it's close. And for the Islanders, great job shutting down the Penguins. and making Malkin look like he's done. Like this to me was the greatest example I've seen this year of Malkin just not looking at all like the Evgeny Malkin that we all remember from every single year before this one. But hey, I need to change words. I hadn't anticipated needing the second column for this game. It's a good thing I didn't take notes on every single thing going on in the second period. So for Chicago today, they kind of need to make a statement. And they wore their reverse retros. Now, the Rangers lost wearing their reverse retros. Buffalo lost wearing their reverse retros. I see Chicago wearing these, and I'm like, what's going to give? Detroit's either going to go on a winning streak, or Chicago's going to break the reverse retro jinx for today. The winning streak for Detroit was not to be. The shots, though, were 3-0 for the Wings 2 minutes in. And again, you don't really have any such thing as moral victories, but Detroit played pretty well until the third period. And then just the floodgates opened. Lankinen was sharp early. Greiss denies Soderberg. There's a delay of game call. The Hawks go to the power play. Then we end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 after that. Lankinen denied to Kaiser. And then Zadorov scores his first goal as a Chicago Blackhawk. He does that from David Kampf at 11:41. That's his first goal in 40 games. So it's been a little over a year since Zadorov last had a goal in the NHL. Greiss then denies Kurashev. Helm had a chance that was denied as well. The Hawks press with 3 minutes left, and Carpenter scores. Carpenter from Mitchell and Highmore at 17:13. And this was a weird goal that I can't really accurately describe other than, first off, Franz Nielsen with a brutal giveaway in his own zone. Just, you don't throw it to Highmore, and he did. And then it deflected off a couple of Red Wings, including Biega's face, it looked like. But anyways, yeah. So Carpenter gets credit for the goal. When he retells it, it's going to be this beautiful 2-on-0 breakaway. And but anyways, yeah, it made it 2-0. But to Detroit's credit, less than a minute later, Sam Gagner scores from Merrill and Nemesnikov at 17:51. So Detroit, who drastically outplayed Chicago through great parts of that period, they emerged with a 2-1 deficit. But you're looking at this and going, you know what? They played really well. Second period, Carpenter had a chance that was kicked out. Carpenter might have had his best game today as a Blackhawk, to be honest. The Hawks press, Glendening with some blocks there for them. Then a 3-on-2, Brome shoots wide. Brome's got his goal for the year, so at this point, if he expects a second goal, that's just being greedy. We get 4-on-4 play for another 2 minutes. The Wings press at around 9 minutes, but they didn't get shots out of it. So there were some times today where you could tell if Detroit had a Lucas Raymond out there, who knows? Things might have gone differently. But they just don't have that prime natural scorer in their midst right now. Lankinen and Greiss were both very good, and I swear to God, Greiss was good. I swear he was. This is one of those things where if you started watching this game late and then you were watching this review and you hear me say Greiss was good, you're going to be like, man, Shannon needs to admit he didn't watch the game. Both goalies were the story after 2 periods. It was 2-1 in favor of Chicago. Through 2 periods, there were 53 shots and 3 goals. This was a goalie duel. And then, I don't know what happened between the second and the third. I don't know what happened to Greiss. I don't have any idea. I don't know if he went to his happy place and Shooter McGavin was there making out with his grandmother. I have no idea. But man, first minute, the Wings had some chances. It goes the other way, and Suter scores his 7th, which leads rookies from Kane and DeBrincat at 1:32. The Wings tried to answer. The heart is there for the Wings. It's right there on the board. The heart is there. And then Ryan takes a penalty. He did not agree with that penalty at all. Believe there was some loud cursing from him. Again, they're not even trying to hide the cursing this year. The Hawks with a power play, and Carpenter, of all people, scores a power play goal from DeBrincat and Boquist at 7:06. So Alex DeBrincat in the third period kind of said, I think I need some points. Because then 2 minutes later, he sets up Patrick Kane, 9 minutes and 10 seconds. That is Patrick Kane's 400th. Yes, that means the Patrick Kane video is on the way because he's got 400 goals. He's the 100th player in NHL history to reach that marker. And he is the 9th U.S.-born player to reach 400 goals. He is the 4th Blackhawk to reach 400 goals as a Chicago Blackhawk. So there's a lot of storyline here, and it absolutely blew the doors off this game. And Greiss, I you look at the stats after the game, you're like, wow, Grace really sucked. In the third, I cannot deny. Although a lot of these were just really bad defense too. But the Wings get a power play. To their credit, they score. So a power play that sucked for 14 games scores in both games against Chicago. It's Svechnikov scoring from Hronik and Ernie at 12-11. Maybe he's tired of being known as the other Svechnikov. Or the older brother to the goal-scoring Svechnikovs. He's like, I can score some goals. I think that's 2 games in a row of Evgeny Svechnikov's had goals too. Kubalik would score from Hagel, though, at 14-14, so they stayed within 3 goals for 2 minutes. And then DeBrincat, he scored from DeHaan and Kane at 15-23. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 goals for Chicago in 8 minutes and 17 seconds. And at that point, Grace slammed his stick on the top of the net, and I half expected it to bounce up and hit him in the face. Because that's the kind of luck he was having in the third period. And yeah, Chicago just takes it home from that point. There was some scrumminess going on. A lot, but there was some. And yeah, so for Detroit, it's an ugly loss. 7-14-3, and for Chicago, they now go to 12-7-4. Chicago's their road coming up is going to be really difficult. Their schedule from here is difficult, so they needed this win over Detroit, and you could see it in how they approached this game. Shots were 21-12 Detroit in the first. Yep. 10 apiece in the second, and Detroit actually outshoots them 14-10 in the third. Final shots 45-32 for Detroit. If Chicago is for real, and right now I think they have a 7-point cushion in 4th place on their division. Now keep in mind Dallas has played like 10 games less than everybody else. Not literally. I make these offhanded comments videos. People take it literal. I always see the comments like, that's not true. Oh man. So the final shots were 45-32 for Detroit. Power plays Detroit 1-for-1 on the power play. Chicago also 1-for-1. Greiss saved 25 out of 32. He was 5-for-10 in the third. It was not a good third period for Thomas Greiss, and there was no taking him out because Bernier played yesterday. Lankinen 43 saves on 45 shots, or maybe Bernier just said I broke something. They said whatever it takes for me not to be out there dealing with these chances for guys like Kubalik, Kane, and DeBrincat in the third period. The Hawks are pretty good, and we'll see how good they are in their upcoming schedule. And I could take a look at the Hawks as well in a video because this is unexpected. This is an unexpected run for Chicago. It's 2015 all over again. DeBrincat, a goal and 3 assists. Kane, a goal and 2 assists, including the 400th goal there. And Carpenter with 2 goals. So, big night for Chicago. Interesting night for Detroit. But again, we know Detroit's not making the playoffs. Tonight they couldn't play spoiler either. But that third period, Chicago is just on a mission. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.